In the last episode of Can I Be Blunt, Mistress Max and I explored the misconceptions surrounding fetishization, the impact of social media on sex work, and the complexities of power exchange relationships. Get ready for part 2, where we talk about the potentiality of DS relationships and some fantasies surrounding surveillance and BDSM and control.
Like, why are you failing your university courses right now? I'm gonna beat the shit out of you.
One thing my grandma said when I would get like 99 on a test, she's like, "Where's the other 1 point?" And I'm like, oh my god. There's a story where my dad wrote home from college and she circled all the mistakes in red and sent it back to him instead of a response. And I'm like, I need to tap more into that mommy archetype.
Honestly, yeah, I'm feeling inspired.
Yeah. Jewish mommies can do it. Can do it too.
Thing that just I'm so disappointed in you.
I think it's hot how many mommy archetypes there are, and a lot of what we do is playing with trauma, and it's just what do you do with it? I'm curious. I haven't seen a lot of your mommy stuff. I'm curious more.
I don't have that much. It's more of a chatting dynamic. I don't have much mommy content, I don't think.
Yeah. Interesting. Max as mommy. Interesting. I'm curious to see more.
I am pretty nurturing and more like daddy, if anything. That's usually what people call me. But yeah, like to take care of.
I was speaking to Domina Sunmi, and they were saying that they love doing daddy stuff because no one has expectations of fathers. And they're like, I don't know how you do mommy stuff. Because you're just always set up to fail.
No, definitely for sure. So a lot of them use it interchangeably. It's just someone from most of them, I think they want to be nurtured. But.
Yeah, and nurtured in different types of ways, right? It goes back to the gendered notions of vulnerability, right? The daddy is not seen as the daddy as gendered subject is not seen as vulnerable, is not seen as is not seen as having expectations of providing care and therefore can't fail. And the mommy is omni-accessible and the one who's supposed to protect you from the dad and the one who's supposed to protect you from everything. And therefore, whatever happens, which something will happen, is automatically a failure.
Yeah, that's so much work. So much work.
Yeah.
Definitely why I don't specialize in that, I think.
When Sunmi said this to me, I was like, damn, I really fucked up. But it's I love it. I don't know. I love it. I feel
it's definitely fun though.
I'm curious, what are you looking for more of in your professional life? You were talking a little bit about shifting the type of content that you were making because of how people were responding, or I
feel I've already kind of done that shift because that was maybe a couple of years ago. I was making a little bit more explicit content, and even though I enjoy doing it, it's just the way people project onto me I find very frustrating. And if you're not going to be grateful for it, you shouldn't have access to it, because I find a lot of it reposted or stolen with fucked up titles or things that I don't. But at this point, it's kind of out of our control because, with AI and everything, people can just use your image and make porn of you that you don't want to exist. So it is what it is. But I'm happy where most of my content is at right now. I've just been doing a lot of filmed lifestyle BDSM videos, which has been fun because a lot of the time just the solo content on front of the camera can get kind of boring or draining. Sometimes I don't like just sitting on front of the camera for hours by myself. Yeah, my moments of creative bursts with that stuff. I love when you do your series and stuff, but I don't think I've ever done one of those kinds of full series. It takes a lot of planning.
It does. I have trained submissives to start writing content for me in the way that I train them like a little neural network, train them like you can train AI. Yeah. So it's it feels more collaborative. It's something that I really enjoy is working with submissives to get me more submissives is a very erotic thing for me. And
a lot of them just want to be useful, and men can come up with the craziest fantasies, and I'm like, oh, I never would have thought of that. They'll think of the craziest things, and I'm like, I'm gonna use that.
Yeah, and I wonder if this is true for you, because my primary interest is power exchange. So the specifics of the fantasy don't really matter to me. I'm not someone I fantasize about control and power. And I was having this conversation with a submissive of mine of he really was having a hard time requesting things in a session with me. And I had to, I'm trying so hard over and over again. I'm like, you're not topping from the bottom. Like, you're not a submissive who is topping from the bottom by telling me what you like. And I came up with this analogy of, if you like love an artist and you go to a museum and you see a retrospective of all of their work, of like 18 years of their work hanging in the museum, not all of those pieces are going to look good in your home because you've already made like style choices in your home. And like the same is true when you're requesting a session. It's like, if I'm coming to you to ask for a session and I've seen all of your content, I've read all of your writing, not all of that is gonna feel good in my body. You've done a ton of shit. You have so much breadth in your career that just saying, do whatever you want to me, I want to feel your power, it's a very rare person who actually wants that. It is profound.
They love to say do whatever, and then the first fucked up thing you come up with, they're like, but not that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I see that for sure.
Yeah. And so I'm curious, are you someone who has specific fantasies that you want to act like? Do you have specific fantasies like that? Or is it mostly like centered around total power exchange?
Mostly like sadistic things, depends on the context, like online or in person and whatnot. But in person, I think I'm a lot more sadistic, and it's easier to also control them when they're right on front of you. Like online is a lot more mind games and stuff, and definitely takes a very willing submissive for it to be enjoyable for both sides. But yeah, I don't think making suggestions isn't really like topping from the bottom. Also depends, whether they're doing it in the form of demands or like suggestions. But ultimately, we want it to be fun for them as well, because that's part of the gratification for us, is that they're actually enjoying it.
Yeah, and I'm like, I was telling him, I'm like, it was just this very specific example of, he's like, I have a stocking fetish, and I wore white stockings, and afterwards he's like, oh, it's like black stockings that come up like right here, and I'm like, that's fine, like I don't have to do it, but like I think of myself as a scientist, and I'm like, you're giving me data, and you need to give me correct data so that as a scientist,
not further manipulate you.
Yes, exactly. We're the same. I'm like, if you give me bad data, I won't be able to as efficiently manipulate you the way that I would like to.
Well, the subs have no idea how extensive my notes are when I'm talking to them. I'm writing these things in my little notebook. Yeah, every single one of them, there's little notes on how their brain works, what triggers them, how I can manipulate them further.
I love it. What's your favorite form of manipulation?
I think just like extended denial is very fun, because we have some very frustrated, and I think it's hilarious seeing them frustrated, because they're just going to be more and more willing to do what they want for that release, whether or not they ever get it. But
I love it. That was definitely an early route of mine. Do you have any like early...
Just telling men no is really fun.
It's like, what do you want? Too bad.
Show me just how bad you want it.
It's like, you're not topping from the bottom. Tell me exactly what you want so that I can deny you.
And giving them the opportunity to try and manipulate you as well, knowing that they're never going to be good at it, is so funny. Because you're like, okay, give me a way to like make me say yes. Like, give me a reason to give you that release, and you're going to see all the hoops they try and jump through, and usually they're not fucking good at it. So it's just kind of comical, and I think it's fun playing all those mind games with them.
What a way that a sub has like not manipulated you, but impressed you to the point where you're, like what does it take for a sub to impress Mistress Max?
Impress me? I don't know, I'm pretty hard to impress.
You're like, has that ever happened? Or to get the attention,
Usually a lot of it is monetary, I guess, online, but I'd say a lot of physical acts online as well, like when they do videos of things that are super humiliating, and especially if they can come up with something that I haven't thought of before, then I'm like, oh, that's really fucking embarrassing. That's hilarious. Maybe I will. I don't know about impressed, though. I'd really have to rack my brain on that one. I'm not easily impressed.
I was imagining the Mistress Max has not impressed me.
Just the look of perpetual disdain burned into their heads. I feel like, being hard to impress, it's kind of my...
sounds very mommy to me. Mommy is always disappointed. Never enough.
Yeah, I do. It's definitely something that I say pretty often. I'm like, impress me. It doesn't happen.
I love a Sisyphean task that you can never accomplish. What like gets your attention though. Like I think something that like I also like want like fans listening to when we like talk about money too, it's like, right, like if you're operating in an online space, money is like one way that you can like tangibly sacrifice power and create the like somatic embodied experience of a power exchange. And it is, I think, the only exchange that you can make, financial domination as part of it, or just like in as part of a DS, total power exchange, part of surrender. A financial monetary sacrifice is the only one that you can make where I actually walk away with more power in the end. And like, you sitting off and like jerking off and giving me a cum tribute, like LOL, is not making me more powerful. Like I am a witch and I could do something with it, but I'm not going to because your cum is worthless.
Oh my god, cum tribute sounds
my cum is powerful, but like our cum is powerful and important.
Yours is not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's definitely the monetary stuff is important, especially in online, because I feel like a lot of subs as well, you know, it's a lot of them, they can't afford or like don't have interest or the confidence to do in-person sessions yet, so they usually seek out online stuff first. But it's hard, especially when a lot of them don't know what they want. So if it comes down to it, they're going to ask what you can do to please you, and of course a lot of it is monetary. I think a lot of them don't realize how many we're dealing with every day as well. So if you want to stand out, you're going to have to do a little bit better than like just existing.
And it's like time and attention is limited, you know, it's not like, you know.
Also, like most doms, and I know we are both ADHD as fuck, you need to keep me like focused.
Give me my dopamine. I want that little ding ding on my Cash App.
Exactly. I want to hear my little wish list notification go off. Like, I want to hear sent goddess. Yes. I got you that really expensive thing that you don't need, and you're not going to give me that much attention, but it made me happy to do it. Like, that's what I want to hear.
Let's say our favorite phrases from subs. You said sent goddess. I'll say yes, mistress.
Yeah, for sure. Or I'm going to call my bank and get my card unblocked for you.
That is my favorite form of...
I love it because, like, you just got a free humiliation test, too. You're going to have to call them and explain why.
Financial processors as the ultimate...
I had my dick in my hands and just leached like $2,000 from my wallet. Can you please unblock my card? My dom is going to be mad. Unblock it, please.
Sir, you're on a recorded line. Yeah,
they can like see exactly what they spent their money on. So funny. Must be interesting.
Yes, mistress. Unblocked my bank card. Just got a second job.
Yes, getting another job. Definitely great. I gambled and won some money. Here it is for you. That's good.
I've got my annual bonus.
I got my tax return. Here, it's in your wish list.
I love these seasons. We're tracking it by season. I feel like too, you were talking about, you know, seeing a sub to like hit that like milestone, you know, I like have been to the gym for 30 days, you know, like that hits, I get like dopamine from that too. Or, you know, been a lot of my long-term subs have like one of them 4x their salary and the like 4 years that they were seeing me. And I'm just like, that feel, you know, and like it didn't hurt that like most of it was like going directly to me and my bank account, but like, you know, like seeing them like progress in their career at that level. Like I have that like expectation of like my property just doing really well and like doing their best.
Yeah. No, seeing them actually better their lives so they can be a better submissive is definitely one of the ultimate feelings. We love that. Some actual effort and the consistency as well. Someone that's actually aligning their actions with what they say. Because a lot of people, you know, I would do anything for you. Okay, prove it. I want to see you do that.
Yeah, I want you to apologize to your wife. But I had a sub I got into a conflict with and I was really upset with him. And I like just have really strong boundaries around not coddling people or like giving positive affirmation when someone interferes with my peace. Or, you know, like I've done it, and it doesn't work, it doesn't help me, it doesn't help them. And suggested that he ask the people in his life if people see him similarly. And he did. And he got really helpful feedback from them. And I think that's like, you know, the way that men are socialized it, you know, I do feel for men like who have like weaker social, I'm not necessarily speaking of this stuff, but like who have like weaker social ties or like don't have as much experience like talking about their feelings or like feel like they need to like perform this like specific type of masculinity in order to like move through the world, that like there's this phrase traditional male alexithymia, which means like the inability to name feelings, that alexithymia is like a really common trait in autistic folks and traumatized people, and also just cis men who have been socially conditioned not to talk about their feelings. And not saying this about this stuff, but when in this example, he asked like loved ones and his friends, and he got really valuable insight that he then applied to his life, and told me that submitting to me actually like has made him better in all of his relationships. And that, you know, that hits like a payment notification too, like when you have that like intimate relationship and you can see someone moving differently through the world.
Yeah, I think, you know, with all the whorephobia and everything, people forget that we really do a lot of like healing work. And it doesn't have to, you know, like I'm totally okay with stuff being like perverted for the sake of being perverted, but when it actually changes their life and everything, this is also very gratifying. I think it's important. It's good work for sure.
Yeah, I think so. And it's super gratifying, I feel like, is the right.
Yeah, being someone that is like a safe person for people to actually be their authentic selves is definitely gratifying for sure.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, I feel like we hit so many topics. We only harassed each other a little.
Because we'll have to do a part 2 because we could talk for a long time.
I know. Is there anything else you want to say or share or harass me about?
Yeah, so like more about this like pleasure dom sub that you have right now. How's that going?
I'm gonna ask you specific questions after this. Just like people giving me exactly what I want is, so like if you identify as a pleasure dom, I can convince you you're a service sub, you know. And like I do like a service top, you know, like I feel like, you know, this like goes back to the beginning of the conversation that we're having. If I want to get choked out while I'm using you as a human dildo, and I'm like I had an ex who I literally trained to fuck me like a fuck machine, and like would have one hand around my neck and just like fuck me. It hit me on exactly the right spot and like could make me come in minutes. And it was like exactly, you know, it was like a routine that we had while he's saying exactly what I want to hear about, like how I own him, how I control him, how he's mine, how he'll do whatever the fuck I say, how he belongs to me, how he'll never be able to fuck another woman. You know, like, he's just like a fucking machine, like automaton.
That's so funny though that they call themselves like pleasure doms, because you're literally an object right now. I've trained you to be like my human fuck machine. You're nothing more than that.
Yes, and I can understand if God, the humiliation session I did with him was so hot. When I was like, you're not, I got mad at him. And I was like, oh, so rare. I get to actually take out my anger in such a healthy way. I was like, you're not a fucking pleasure dom. You've just like never encountered your own desires before because you repress them. So you focus on other people's desires. So you think that's what you're supposed to do because you've been trained this way to like never your own, you know, and just getting to go like deep psychological torture shit is my vibe. And he's like, I'm a service. And now it's like a running joke. But yeah, I don't know. I think we're very similar. I like total control. And I like the physical, like I am a switch. I like switch like every 5 years. Like let's be like, it keeps me humble. It keeps me like grounded. It keeps me down to earth. But
no,
like,
it's so important to actually be on the receiving end too, so you know what you're dishing out to people. So
yeah, I think so too. And I like the physicality of rough sex on me as well.
Yeah, definitely like a big sensory seeker, and a lot of the time it doesn't really have anything to do with power. It's just being like stimulated.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and like it's one thing. My friend who's a boot black, Katie Diamond. I don't know. There's some pictures of the boot blacking scene in the top that corner. But one thing that she teaches in her boot blacking classes is that you can boot black as a submissive or you can boot black as a dom. And she would like grab my boot, you know, and like put it on her chest and like gave an example of like dominantly doing my boots. And I think it's something that people forget is that no activity is inherently dominant or submissive.
And the consent aspect of it is still important because one person can interpret it as like an act of dominance and the other one is not. So you have to agree on what's actually happening in the scene.
Yeah, I feel like it's something that you've talked about. I'd be curious if you wanted to talk a little bit more about what that's been like for you.
Even just in the context of those like explicit content where I might be bottoming or something and people will project those things onto you. And then I've had moments where I'm like, is that something that's going on in my partner's head that I'm not aware of? Because then that would make me uncomfortable. Like in your head, are you dominating me? Because that's not what's happening in my head. And for it to actually be mutually pleasurable, you need to be on the same page. So that's one of the reasons I strayed away from it. Not from, well, a bit of a combination of like bad experiences, but people will always try and undermine any woman that's like very in control of her own agency. So I just try not to give them the satisfaction.
I can appreciate that. And it also like, well, thank God for personal life. You can like, I think it's like,
I don't have to film this shit. Like I can be doing the craziest shit in my personal life and y'all don't have any access to it. And
you'll never fucking know. Like,
no.
I think it's really important to like keep things for yourself and like to have that. And yeah, I'm sorry. It's really gross when people like, like that just because you have, like people will interpret things however they want. And I do think it is part of like releasing content into the world, like, okay, so can you tell me your Black Mirror fantasy is this online or is this in person too?
I think, and maybe it's because of the increasing surveillance state thing we have going on right now. Maybe I'll just start to fetishize it. And yeah, if they all had microchipped brains and we can control our subs like 24/7 and just take money directly out of their bank accounts through their brain.
Yeah,
Every time
like,
they say something
I'm
crazy.
thinking of making a withdrawal to Mistress Max. Boom, it happens. So you can't jerk off thinking about it unless you do.
Like I control, like I own your thoughts. If you think about me, you're gonna pay. That's so funny.
My God, I love that.
Yeah, or a shock system that's like connected to their nervous system, and every time they think something crazy, they're just gonna get electrocuted.
I'm really into this. I love the idea of a sub not being able to jerk off about me in fantasy without it becoming a reality. Like, you can't watch one of my Findom clips and not send, because if you're thinking about how hot it would be to send, and my pussy's getting wet talking about this, it comes out of your account automatically. Also, I'm thinking I have this system that I'm working on developing with a developer called Big Mother Technologies, play on Big Brother, and Panoptic. I don't know how to say it, but not Panopticon, but Panoptimom. My idea of like, you don't know if mommy's always watching, mommy's surveillance system. I too am eroticizing.
Yeah, you were talking about stalkings earlier, and the first thing that came to my head, I was like, wait, stalking, like physically stalking someone? Because that's hot too. Makes them feel like they're constantly being surveilled, like fuck with their head, so they're just looking over their shoulder at any moment if I'm like fucking.
Yeah, and they don't know. Yeah, because you are watching enough that they don't know when you are.
I've had subs like install surveillance cameras in their house and connect it to my phone, and I can just watch them, and they forget that it's there, and I'm like, why are you sitting down when you could be doing something useful?
Why aren't you working for me?
And they're just like shocked and become very on edge. It's hilarious. I love it for sure.
I feel like it adds, it adds to the total power. I think I love the deep psychological. I feel like you can hit on some of this with psychological play and hypnosis of getting people into that state of like not knowing. I do a lot of heavy psychological play with subs where they're like, I don't know if this is my fantasy or you implanted it in me. And after years of playing with me, like I had one sub be like, do I just like what mommy likes, or am I just super fucking malleable? And I'm like, I don't know.
Both. Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I'm like, mommy just has good taste, and it's very persuasive.
You just want to do everything that I want to do, and also because it makes me happy.
If anyone wants to invest in Max and Blunt's surveillance technologies, we
let us
put
know.
Together a pitch deck. I love the Cash App notification.
That would be great. Can do like a Kickstarter for Dom surveillance state.
Dom surveillance state sounds so much better than what we have right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and people would be into it for sure.
Yeah. Well, also like we eroticize the
Okay,
abuse
yeah,
of
if anyone
power.
wants to buy us an island where we can make this happen, yeah, that'd be great. A whole island.
Yes. We need like, yeah, the boundaries of the
Uh-huh.
water. If you try and escape, you immediately get waterboarded.
Swim back.
Okay, I'm into this like Max and Blunt led fascist state.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I like I'm thinking about it so intensely now.
I know. Okay. Well, I'll go jerk off thinking about it.
Yeah, we have like a gated community and they all live in like fucking barn or in cages.
Yeah.
It's all surveilled. Like everything they do. You breathe, you get charged. Anything you do. Or electrocuted.
Every breath.
Yeah.
Gratitude for every breath through financial remuneration.
Yeah.
I wonder if the subs would breathe like this or like this. Just make sure we get more money.
That would be good.
What?
The more anxious breathing, probably.
Yeah, we need some anxious. We'll keep them anxious. We'll make sure that they can never get a good night's sleep, that their heart rate variables always. Okay, well, we could clearly talk forever, but I will ask if people want to find you, where can they find you?
Just look up Mistress Max.
Amazing. Bitches with good SEO. I love it. I'm Mistress Blunt if you Google me and find me. And I'm already always watching you. So it's about time you contact us.
Having a little fantasy?
You think you're watching us, but actually we're watching you. We've been watching you for a while, and it's time for you to submit to both of us.
Yeah, little do they know this show is like laced with some kind of shit that's already, brainwashing them. They're gonna have dreams about us immediately.
Absolutely. And our fascist state. Thank you for role playing us as fascist leaders. I've asked someone before on this podcast and they didn't do it. Okay, I will ask. I've asked this question before too. How would you dress your fascist army?
Let me think. I want them to be well dressed, probably, but not like too well dressed. I'm kind of basic, at least for the subs. Just like plain black with some shock collars. But it would be fun if it's not just a shock collar, like it's implanted in their skin.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I love that. Like a TENS unit. Like they
or
do
like
for like
in the Hunger Games. Oh, that would be fun. That would be a good event in our fascist surveillance state to have them do the Hunger Games.
Oh my god, on our island.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. Well,
and then the prize? What is the prize? The prize would be
on my baseball field.
Yeah, the prize if they win the Hunger Games. I don't know.
Funding the rest of the fascist state?
Yeah, you can stroke once.
One
single stroke.
You have to kill 47 people for one.
Or you could make them like one of the higher up subs that disciplines the other subs for you for like a day. That would be hilarious.
I love outsourcing.
Yes, we love doing
We love outsourcing.
Yeah.
I have friends in the biohacking community who do chip people. So I do feel like we can make some of this happen. I could get a chip in my hand that unlocks people's chastity, and I could just like wave my hand to unlock or not unlock. I feel like there's so many different ways.
Now I'm getting a little
the right people.
I'm getting a little excited. I'm gonna bully myself about this. Like, who's funding this now?
Our fascist state needs funding because we need to eroticize the trauma of living in this world, and we need to eroticize
now. We should make an actual Kickstarter.
I feel like the copy for it would be fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that would be great. We should do it.
Well, clearly we need to do a part 2 once our fascist state is in working order.
Yes.
But it was so fun chatting with you.
Sounds good. Thank you. I will talk to you soon and we will, definitely plan our fascist state.
Absolutely.